Hi guys, Kristen here. So I'm just going to start another reading vlog. Today is Easter Monday, so I'm just going to rant a little bit about being an expat during this whole COVID situation the past year. So, obviously this is just like another holiday in the past year that we are not with family living abroad. We would not have flown home for Easter, but we did intend to go home for Christmas this past Christmas and weren't able to, so it's just like every holiday that happens is another just like annoying reminder that we really can't go home easily. So while we've been very fortunate this past year, our like work and finances have not been terribly affected. There are still things like just being able to see your family even briefly when things have opened up a little bit more at various times in the past year. We still haven't been able to get home and see our family, so just feeling like my mood has been a little bit impacted by just like another holiday abroad. So that is that. Reading wise, it has been fairly romance heavy the past week or so. I am currently in the middle of reading or listening to the audiobook for Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. I'm really enjoying parts of it. It is a sci-fi romance featuring a political marriage between two men, which is really refreshing. It deals a lot with how your past experiences in relationship are brought into new ones. One of the characters, Kiem, I think is one of my new all-time favorite characters. He's just one of those like really great guys who doesn't see the amazing things about him and doesn't see how great he is at people, and is a very like self-deprecating and has had people in his life who have only pointed out his like perceived mistakes, and they all were when he was really young and a teenager, and for whatever reason his like royal family just like won't let him let go of that idea. But he's also really caring and amazing. I don't know, he's just like, and he's like really funny. I just really like Kiem. So there's like this like little bit of a murder mystery element to it, but I would say it's a very political murder mystery, but like not just like intrigue and scheming and conspiracy stuff, but more like about this intergalactic government, and we don't have all of the details or understanding of how the government works, and so it's hard to understand the implications of things that are happening or what people's motives would be. Some of the I think are supposed to be reveals aren't that shocking, like the characters are shocked, you're like, but I don't understand that aspect of this intergalactic treaty or whatever. So that's otherwise. I read Beach Read by Emily Henry. I just have my Kobo here, so I'm looking at what I've read recently. This is a new author to me. I heard about, she has an upcoming anticipated release called People We Meet on Vacation that is about sort of like a friends to lovers to it ruined their friendship sort of thing. So this is, I guess, like a contemporary romance that follows two authors who are struggling with writer's block. The female character, January, is a romance writer, whereas the man, Gus, writes like literary fiction, and they challenge each other to like write a book in the other's genre. It was a lot more emotionally hard-hitting than I was expecting. So this was, while there was like a romance and there was definitely some steaminess, it also dealt with some very, very tough topics. So sort of like potential content warnings or trigger warnings here would be like, there was some aspects of grief that were dealt with. There was child abuse, not directly but mentioned, and adultery as well. I probably would have cried at a certain part, except for I didn't let myself because I had to teach a yoga class like right after I was reading it, so I was like holding in. I didn't let myself cry, but there was definitely a moment that I think was potentially a tearjerker. But overall, I really liked it because it wasn't a straight, like, I think in the moment I was looking for a fluff romance, but I still really appreciated what that was, and I am even more excited now, I think, for People We Meet on Vacation for when that comes out, which is in May. And then a fluff romance that I did read that is just like only really positive was The Best Friend Problem by Mariah Ankenman. Ankenman. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. And this is about basically this girl Prudence and her best friend Finn, who's like a sexy fireman. Prudence really wants a baby and is planning to like get a sperm donor, and she's in the middle of fertility treatments when her and Finn have a spontaneous hookup and forget to use protection, and so because she's on fertility drugs, she gets pregnant with Finn's baby. Problem is, Finn doesn't want kids because he's a fireman, he sees his job as like very dangerous. Obviously it is, and he's never wanted to put a wife or children in a place of having like potentially losing their father, and so he's never wanted a family because of that reason. You can sort of expect the arc that is going to take, and it was like straightforward fluff, decent steaminess. I would say though, if you are in the fertility treatment process, this could potentially have some triggers. But I just got a notification for Flamefall. They finally got a copy at the library, so I was able to put it on hold. So I just got the notification. I have downloaded it onto my ebook, and I am gonna get into this. I'm so excited. Hey, so it is Monday evening. I just got finished teaching my yoga class. It was a yoga fit class, so that's why I'm all sweaty, but I thought I would pop on and do a little bit of an update on Flamefall. I am actually about 20% in, so I have made some headway today. I am really enjoying it so far. The relationship dynamics are still complicated. The one thing that I can see as worrying me or being a potential thing that I really dislike is that it seems a little bit like, in the first book, there were sort of Annie and Lee and their complicated dynamics, and there were sort of two other possible, like another option for each of them. And that actually was like a tolerable dynamic because they sort of made sense and you didn't hate the other characters. It made sense at the time. And it feels like already, only 20% in, I'm not certain, but it feels like there are potentially new alternative options being presented for Annie and Lee again. So that would bother me. The new character Griff, I don't want to say I'm enjoying those chapters yet. I am finding they are really eye-opening. We don't actually really know too much about Griff himself yet. Like, it feels like those chapters are being used at the moment to show the problems that are, and the things that you really don't like about the Dragon Lord triarchy regime, the old way. So at the moment, it doesn't feel like we have gotten too much to know Griff as a person, Griff as a character just yet. We're learning a little bit about his relationship with Julia from the first book, and that's pretty problematic, slightly uncomfortable thing that they had. Lee is having some complicated feelings regarding the regime, regarding the revolution, or like the government that he belongs to now, even though he made a pretty definitive choice to stay with them. But he's having some understandably complicated feelings after the result of like that duel that he was in. And it looks like they're maybe going into like a little bit of like PTSD or like shell shock, except for they're calling it flame shock. Yeah, so we'll see. Like, it definitely seems like there's some mental health is going to be explored a little bit more in this one. So far, so good. I will keep you updated. I do not plan on picking up any other book until this is done, even though I only have less than 2 hours left on Winter's Orbit. I will finish this first, and then I will update you. Hey guys, it is Tuesday afternoon. I'm literally just about to teach a yoga class in like 20 minutes, but I also just finished Winter's Orbit. While I'm feeling all warm and fuzzy about it, I wanted to pop on and do an update for both Flamefall and Winter's Orbit. Sorry if it's really echoey. I feel like once I move the couch out of the living room and like into the kitchen, it feels really echoey in here, so I apologize if it sounds funny. But my plan was not to stay up all night and finish Flamefall, because I have been not sleeping very well, and I've been like reading well into like the more early morning, and what I really wanted to do was try to get a really good night's sleep. and that just didn't happen. I got to a part in Flamefall where I just didn't feel like I could put it down. Rosaria Munda is probably going to be an auto-buy author for me. Only 2 books into the series. Obviously, we'll see how she sticks the landing. I'm pretty sure it's going to be amazing, even if it is also heartbreaking. The things with the relationship did not go the way that I was worried it was, and it really felt like the dynamic between Annie and Lee in this one was more about them, once again, struggling to communicate effectively, but because they were sort of found themselves on different sides. So obviously he's not in support of the like this revolution, the government anymore, whereas Annie is really kind of sticking to her duty in this book. So while Annie and Lee are on the same page in terms of the 2 of them, they are put in a position because the fact that they're not on the same page politically. They are again sort of at odds. The first half, or like leading up to the first half, it felt like it was sort of the calm before the storm. But the thing with the storm in this book is that it wasn't all at once. There was definitely drama at the end, but in terms of like things going wrong in the storm, it was little bits and pieces as things slowly fell apart and got worse and worse. I just love Annie and Lee, and also so disagree with some of the decisions that they both make. You're so connected and invested, or I am so connected and invested in these characters and in the situation that you want to keep reading to find out what happens, but at the same time, you feel like there is a writhing, twisted mass in the pit of your stomach and that your heart is slowly breaking and just being heavy. I felt heavy and like that uncomfortable stress throughout the majority of this book, and like just right through the latter half, absolutely to the ending. Flamefall has a very cliffhanger ending, so I'm not sure how long we have to wait for the next one. I haven't even had a chance to look that up yet. It was amazing. Let me check the time. Yes, okay, I still have a couple minutes to talk about Winter's Orbit. So I finished that, obviously Flamefall, like in the morning, went to bed for a few hours, got up, and then I've just been like cleaning and tidying and stuff like that this morning. While I was doing that, I was listening to the final 2 hours of Winter's Orbit. Overall, I really liked Winter's Orbit. I don't think it is going to be my favorite romance of all time. It's not a favorite book of all time, but I think that this had elements that I really liked, particularly the character of Prince Kiem. I just think he is a delightful cinnamon roll. He's one of those characters who is so wonderful and kind-hearted and sees all of the wonderful, amazing things in other people. And like there's a couple times where people like have these sort of like reveals, or he finds things out about other people and they are like devastated that he finds out and think that he's going to judge them. He's like, oh, okay. Well, can we go do this? And they could just like, oh, I just spilled tea all over me. I just spilled tea all over myself, and then like laughed and choked on tea. Anyway, is so non-judgmental and wonderful, but at the same time has this like self-deprecating humor. And even though he is so charismatic and wonderful with people, because he had like a few mistakes when he was a young teenager, he doesn't see the wonderful things about him. And that's one thing that I really liked about the relationship between Kiem and Jinin. It's a relationship where each partner really sees the other person, like period. Like they see them, they see that they have their hang-ups, although there's more to that with Kiem seeing Jinin's hang-ups and not understanding them. They see each other fully, and they see and value the strengths and the amazing things about the other partner. And so I thought that was extremely well done in this. There is a component that I'm never really sure how to address, and I'm not sure how to talk about this moving forward. When a book has an element to it that I think could be a selling feature because it is maybe like a particular representation, but it is part of a surprise or a reveal in the book, I never know what to say or how to approach it, because I feel like it is something that people, like other potential readers, would be interested knowing, either as a content warning or being like, yes, I would like to see more of that representation in books. I think it would be a selling feature for new readers. And so there is an element to Winter's Orbit that I feel like, again, I feel like it is a particular type of representation, but I don't know that I can say it, because while I thought it was obvious, I thought it was obvious because I have not personal experience, but some experience in that. And so I could see the red flags and the warning signs earlier on, even though it is possible that they could be perceived in the same way that Kian saw them. So basically that element to the relationship I thought was really well done. It really played into the idea of how past experiences can shape the way that you act and think, or that you can bring those into your new relationship. And I'm not saying any of this right. Basically, I think that it was well done. I don't think that Prince Kiam responds perfectly. So I'll make that clear. I think that he responds in a way that is understandable and actually is a response that I personally have had. I have not always done what was best for someone in that situation, or responded in a way that was best for the person in that situation, because I was coming from a place of not understanding and from a place of protectiveness. The one thing I will say about this book, sort of that was like a bit of a critique, is that there is a very significant portion in about like the second half of the book that really goes into sort of the politics of this intergalactic government, and it has to do with like the murder mystery component of this book. And I just don't feel like you have all the information for those conversations to be as like on the edge of your seat as they could be. Like, they mentioned some intergalactic, I forget even what they called them, but it was just like, who are those? Like, when has that been brought up before in this book? So a little bit in terms of the world building for understanding the politics here was a bit of a miss for me. So overall, while I really enjoyed this, I thought that it had some really great trauma representation. I'm not sure how to present it other than that. Okay, I'll wrap it up because I actually have to teach yoga in like 5 minutes and I have to still get ready and stuff. So I will stop talking. I have no idea what I'm going to read next. I have a bunch of stuff that has come up available at the library. Maybe I'll do, I think, 3 books just right now, but I also have other stuff that I have like borrowed from the library and not started reading yet. So I'll do like some screenshot inputs here. None of them are really catching my eye at the moment, although I do want to read Hero of Ages. That's one that I've sort of like already borrowed, but haven't gotten to yet. Next time you check in, I will hopefully have picked a book and have started reading it. Okay, so I have been meaning to, I just basically stopped filming this reading vlog accidentally, and I like kept reading, but it wasn't feeling like filming the days that I was reading. So my plan today was to like update you on where I was at reading wise, and wrap up this reading vlog. And the craziest thing just happened. I'm so excited. I'm like giggling. I just got my hair dyed also, so don't mind like the dyed forehead. Anyway, I don't know whether or not to start with it like exciting news or to tell the story. I'm just gonna say it. So I won one of the prizes for the Animal Companion Readathon that I did in March with Elliot Brooks's channel. So I'm just like so excited for that. So here's the thing. So I was on my way home from the hairdresser. I was on the bus and I got like a email from my channel's like email account and Gmail account. It was like, oh, you have a new subscriber. I was like, oh, that's fun. And then I got another one and another one. And by the time I got off the bus, I had like 4 new subscribers, which, you know, it's a small channel, so it feels like a lot suddenly, and it felt really out of the blue. Like, I did release a video today, but it was like just like a wrap up. Like, it wasn't anything that would draw attention necessarily to my channel suddenly to get that many new subscribers. And so then I was like, well, where could this be coming from? And I opened up YouTube and I looked on the notifications and I noticed that Elliot Brooks had posted her like wrap up and readathon announcement video, and I was like, no, it couldn't be. Like, there's no way. That would be the only thing that could draw that many, not that many people. It's like 5 at this point. But anyway, so yeah, and then I watched the video and sure enough, I won. I'm so excited. But I'm pretty sure the prize is that she's going to like send me a book. And I actually, if this is okay, I was planning, I have to ask her, but I wanted to read her book. So that's my plan. I don't know if it's gonna happen. Anyway, so exciting. It was like very surreal to have like one of your favorite booktubers like mention your name and your channel and a video of yours that I watched. Is like very, very, very surreal. But anyway, yeah, exciting. Thank you.